broadcasting legend in his own mind. He's known to be prickly and very opinionated. It's time to get in the huddle with your host, Coach Muddle.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to a Thursday. Got Captain Jack, Nevada Nick.
Maybe.
I know some issues. I think it's his, Tug Thursday or whatever it is. So he may or may not be joining us by phone. So
now he's boycotting today.
Oh, he's boycotting today. Okay. I didn't see his official press release.
Actually, I think his secretary was on his way to file it, but then she saw Nick at the rub and tug, so she was waiting for him to get out of the rub and tug before she filed it. So it's probably still. Oh, actually, it's 6 o'clock Eastern. It might not get filed today, so you might see it tomorrow.
Okay. All right. So I got a few of the hairs cut today, Captain. Got a couple.
You want some of mine?
Yeah, sure. I'm a little jealous,
Not bad for actually. The first time I did this, which I did for what do you call it? The Locks for Love. And I still have, then I did it again and put it away. So I still have some stuff that you can use, just paste it or do like a Dominican, because I know the Dominican gals have like the pasty hair. So right. I can get you some pasty hair so you can be like part Captain Jack. So, be good there.
I had the mullet. I had the mullet back in the 80s. I can go with the mullet and bring that back, See,
I don't do a mullet. Mullets don't look good. My hair goes. I mean, it's the full kind of like what's the name of the cousinette type shit? It goes all the way down evenly. So no mullets for this guy. I know it's business in front, party in the back. I get it, but yeah, I'm not a mullet guy.
I'm if it was up to me, I would just buzz the top and let the face grow, like yours. Because I hate shaving, but you got to do what you got to do to keep the bosses happy. So and that's how it works.
Oh yeah. Well,
so.
For you, definitely happy life. I get it. But see,
there you go. Happy life. And that's the way we roll.
I defy it. Say fucking deal with it. Sorry. I'm not.
We'll see in 2 years when after retirement kicks in. We'll see how that works. So.
Yeah, actually, it's one of those things where where I work professionally. And it's a military place. So most of the people have military, haircuts, and even when they've retired, they've retained their retired military, but they're working in a military establishment. They've retained most of the specs of the military. And I respect that. But even when I was in the military, my hair was, just like, and granted, I was a chief petty officer, so I would always have to get on my sailors to make sure they were within regs. But my hair itself was always like looking like I needed like a day or so away from a haircut. So, and I had to get quite a few just to keep it at that length so that it was long, but just under regs. Right. And my division, they were like, one of those don't do as I, or don't do as I say, or say as I do.
Do as I say, not as I do.
There you go. And even my mustache was a little bit beyond the corners, like, it shouldn't been. But so I was a rebel, and I heard about it from the ops master chief. And see, Nick got his happy ending. So now was the secretary an additional happy ending that you had after? Was your secretary another happy ending? That would be 2 pumps, man. That's good for you, brother. That's good. That's good, man. She told me, love me long time. Love me long time.
There you go.
Damn straight. Hey, I'm all for that, man. Like my claim to fame, being in the Philippines and going to places of ill repute. The first time I ever went to a massage parlor was, a massage parlor, and I remember a real massage parlor, but with bennies, right? So I got through the massage, and I always remember the girl say, "You want the sensation?" I said, "A sensation?" Yeah, you want the sensation? I'm like, "Sure, I want a sensation. Yeah, going to cost you about another, I think, 200 pesos more, and that's to me." And I'm like, "Sure." I didn't even know there was a sensation was even offered. So yeah, so I had my sensation on top of the massage. So every time I wanted to get a real massage, plus the sensation, and I had this young lady that was pretty stacked for a Filipina, because most Filipinas are
Yeah.
not stacked, but she was pretty stacked. So I would have a sensation in various places that I won't talk about on air, but it was well worth the time. Well worth the time. Old sailor talk here.
Just here, this is fun. You'll get a kick out of this one. I don't mind talking about it. I was probably 19 or 20. Was with a Korean friend of mine, and we went to this club where you buy a bottle of liquor, whatever it was, and the girls came with the table. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
First time for me. I didn't understand the whole concept. And we're sitting there and drinking and talking, and and I am just totally oblivious to what the procedure is. And finally we're the bottle's gone, and my buddy's like, "What did you do?" I go, "We're just drinking. What's the deal?" He goes, "No, you dumbass, now we have to leave." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" "Well, because we finished the bottle, we would have had to buy another bottle. But because we didn't take the girls back to whatever the little room, or we didn't do anything, I don't know." So that was the last time I got invited out to one of those those adventures.
I had better luck in Korea. I'll save it for another time when we are really pressed for not having a lot to talk about. Like today, I might have to bring it up at the end of the show, but I'll try to save it for another time. And by the way, Nick, no gonorrhea, because this sailor was smarter, unlike Tommy, who I did hear from. So at least we know he's alive.
Okay.
Yeah, I did hear from Tommy. But no gonorrhea. One thing I will say is that this sailor was smart enough, being that I was stationed in the Philippines. Okay. What you learned was, when you're stationed there and the fleet comes in, you resort to having friends that live outside of the area that you hang with while the fleet's in. Then when the fleet goes, you wait at least 2 weeks minimum before the young ladies, they got checked out. It was a subsidy by the military. I'm sorry to say this, but yeah, it's true. The U.S. military would subsidize making sure that their sailors weren't picking shit up. So you would wait until 2 weeks for a good time to make sure that the young ladies were free of such things. Now, yeah, I got caught in a bad deal a couple times, and we were talking about shots in the ass, and I know all about them. But for the most part, you learn a routine and you stay away from such things. But they want to know what the number is, Coach.
Yes, the number. I'm sorry I didn't put it up. It's 302-313-6797 is the number. So go ahead and call in, and we'll see if it works, because we don't know. So
hopefully it does. And in fact, do me a favor, Coach. Talk for at least 2 or 3 minutes. Your banner stopped. There you go. Talk for at least 2 or 3 minutes. What I'll do is I'll go over to you or Facebook again, and hopefully grab some people for calls.
All right. Well, Nevada Nick is calling in.
Good. That's good to hear.
And
I say hear it.
Nevada Nick. To accept, press 1. To send a
all right, you're in the huddle.
What's going on, Coach?
How you doing? How you
Hey,
doing?
what's going on, brother?
Good. Good to know the phone works.
Yes, we're excited that the phone works. We know the phone works, so we're very excited about that. So, so what's the matter? You couldn't finish on time. You got your rub and tug went a little over. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was a long day. You know, and plus, as a professional handicapper, all the craziness going on. So it's been a long day for me. Plus, me and Stiz are headed down to AC tomorrow, so I've been preparing for that. I went out and got a haircut and, you know, got a bunch of things ready. So I didn't have time to, you know, I left my laptop at the office. So, yeah, you know, I was going to do it by phone, but last time I think Captain got motion sickness.
Blair Witch, man, it was bad, man. Blair Witch Project revisited. You know?
It was. I remember you said it was like Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, and I was like, what was the name of that movie with the kids in the woods and the camera moving and all? I knew what the movie was, but I just couldn't remember the name. And then some of the commenters, you said Blair Witch. Yeah, there you go. So now, because it's relatively, you know, recent in memory, I could pull it out of my ass and not have to say, what was the name of that movie again with the things and the people and the trees, and people are like, what the hell is he talking about, man? But yeah, Blair Witch. So now I'm still, Nick, I'm still behind you.
Yet or no?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Did we start talking about hockey yet or no?
No, we've been talking about women of the night, actually.
Yeah. And your cousin wants to talk about sports. Well, shit, Nick's cousin. Guess what? There's a number as well. Okay. This is a show where it's give and take. It's called social discourse. Okay. If you want to talk about sports, then call the fucking number, Nick's cuz. There you go.
I think my cousin, you know, obviously the Flyers game was canceled tonight, so he was ready for that.
Yeah, I was too.
Obviously, which is disappointing. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen now. I don't know if you guys have heard anything. I've heard they might just push it back to tomorrow now, but really curious to see what happens there because, you know, obviously with the way they're playing in the bubble in the certain locations, you know, timing's not exactly easy, you know, and they were supposed to have another game on Saturday at noon. So now obviously that's going to have to change. So I'm wondering if they're going to, I'm hoping they play tomorrow because then the degenerate I am can bet on it and watch it down in AC as I gamble and do all the things I like to do.
Here's some good insight from Nevada Nick's cousin.
I was going to say this though. I swear I was waiting for the opportunity. Go ahead, though, cuz.
All right, but yeah. So
what do you say, Coach? Because I can't say it.
Oh, right. Well, he said it's a blessing in disguise because Carter Hart's exhausted and he wasn't going to get the start tonight. So that lets him rest and he'll be ready to go. And hopefully they can take a series lead.
Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know he wasn't going to start. That is a blessing in disguise, especially, too, with it being game 3, you know, getting that 2-1 lead. Look, obviously there's more games to play, but you get a nice stranglehold, you know, on the series as, you know, when you're up 2-1, obviously the other team needs to take 3 or 4 to be able to win. So, and that's what the Bruins are facing after getting pretty much slapped last night, 7-1. By the Lightning in a heck of a performance by Captain's team. But as we know,
alternate team when the Flyers are out, my alternate team. Okay,
right.
I haven't worn my my Lightning jersey yet because I don't want to fuck up the karma. If and when the Flyers are out of the playoffs, then I will wear my Lightning. I got a nice black alternate Lightning jersey.
Captain, I'm hoping that you have the dilemma of Flyers Lightning. in the conference finals because look at the Lightning.
Yeah, I did when the Lightning won the cup. I was actually working for the Lightning for security down in the Tampa. Like it was actually the Forum. Actually, still called the Forum. But I was a Flyers fan working at the Lightning during the conference finals, along with the Stanley Cup finals. And I'll tell you a story about that sometime as well. But they all knew I was a Flyers fan, and I couldn't stand the Lightning. This was before I actually forged a relationship with some of the Lightning players, like Victor Hedman and Nikita. What's his name? The other Russian guys. No, I wasn't a fluffer for the Lightning, but I do know a few gals who were. But that's another story.
Now, yesterday, I went 3-0. I had the Avalanche, the Lightning, I had the Phillies. So I got 2 NHL picks quick, and I'll have some baseball a little bit later. But tomorrow, if the Flyers play, I'm going to ride the Flyers. I think, getting that game to win. And honestly, I kind of thought they got outplayed, obviously, in that game, too, except for the first period. Obviously, the Flyers really came out in the first period and looked great. But then, as Captain and me both said yesterday, kind of took the foot off the gas a little bit. So I'm looking for a good performance in Game 3. And then in the Boston-Tampa game tomorrow, I think after losing 7-1, I mean, you kind of saw it with the Canucks after they lost 5-0 to Vegas. I think Boston's going to come back with a spirited game tomorrow. And I think this is going to be a tight back-and-forth series. I really do see it going 7. I don't know if you agree, Captain. I do like Tampa Bay, but I think this game's going. I think this series going 7. I see a lot of back and forth between two really good teams.
Yeah, I agree in that respect, in the fact that, and this is what Jason Dean was talking about with the Eastern teams beating each other up, and I see some of that. But I think Jason Dean was kind of looking like Vegas was just going to fly through the West. And that's not appearing like it's going to as well. So they're getting a little bit more of a resistance. I think that the Lightning Boston series is going to be more physical than the Flyer Islanders series, because the Islanders are a bit more of a finesse team. And for the Flyers to throw that physicality in there, I think that they have enough where if they get past the Islanders, then you will have some of that physicality left for whoever comes out of that series, and I like the Flyers in that. But the Bruins are going to kick ass in Game 4, man. I can see it. They're going to out physical the Lightning, and don't be surprised if gloves don't drop immediately. And by the way, I wanted to ask Nick's cousins. No, again, not a fluffer for the Lightning, although I did know a few who were.
Nick's cousin put a big. I just want to put this up real quick. Thank you, because he said I was spot on with my comment.
Yeah, they said that. They said that in the game the other night. And I said, "Hey, Coach said that." So that's it.
I just, thanks for
reaffirming.
Thank you. I like when people tell me that I'm right.
I do too.
Of course he does. And you've seen that so far in this playoff, though. You look Game 1, the Islanders kind of dominated the Flyers. Flyers bounced back to a 3-0 lead, end up, tying the game, the Islanders, obviously, but they win in overtime. You saw it, Tampa Bay win 7-1. You saw it in the Vegas game. So I'm really expecting the Bruins to punch back tomorrow. And I'm curious also to see what happens with my cousin's team, Colorado, because I think obviously Game 4 is still a must-win. And then if they obviously tie that series 2-2, it's a series again, and Colorado's back in it, and a very dangerous team with that top line. I mean, that top line is just unbelievable for the Avalanche.
Yeah, I watched that game last night with the Stars and the Lanch, and the third period, man, was like, don't blink because you're going to miss a goal. I think they had like 6 goals in the third period alone. It was kind of like shooting target practice over for the all of the skaters that they had. Very physical, but very very entertaining third period with the Lanch coming out on that. But I want to go back one real quick point, and again, I see if that gets tied, that throws a big muck in the old the predictions type of thing. I want to ask your cousin. They were debating whether Elliott was going to be the goalie for Game 3. So I want to know. He said if that's conjecture that he had Elliott in the net, or was that a fact? Because again, I'm not up there, and I haven't seen anything stating that Elliott was scheduled to start. Again, it is true that with the layoff, Hart gets a chance to take a breather. And I think it's going to, I don't know who's going to benefit most in the fact that it's kind of like having that big pause and then you have to start up again. So is it good for the Flyers that there's that pause and you have to start up or anything? And that goes for all of the series because there's these pauses that were not expected in hockey. And that's why I said, yeah, okay, that's what I thought because all the talking heads were like, who do you go with? And they said, they go with the kid. He's 22. You can suck it up, playing back-to-backs and whatnot.
Be a surprise in a swing game of Game 3 with the series tied 1-1 to not put in Hart. But like I had said, too, they would have obviously played in back-to-back. Wait, did the Flyers play yesterday or was it 2 days ago? Now I'm forgetting.
They played yesterday because I jumped out of the shower right into the show and missed the overtime winner.
Overtime during our show, yes.
So then they would have played today back to back, and then they would have turned around Saturday, and Saturday was a noon game. So that's a lot. That's 3 games in less than 72 hours. So, or maybe it's not 6, it's 4 days, but still, that's not a lot of turnaround time, obviously. So maybe they would have done it, but no, he's definitely right, and I agree with him. It is good for the Flyers.
But look,
get hard to sit out. I mean, not sit out, but to get a breather, have a day off. I'm just curious to see how they mess with this schedule now, because obviously they were supposed to play a game Saturday at noon. Now, whether they play tomorrow and postpone that game or just go and play Saturday, but let's not forget they have other series that are getting played. And they kind of need that one to go with it, or else you may have a situation where, a team's off for a week and they don't want to have that.
Well, but when you talk about having that many games in a short amount of time, you forget these guys are going from the locker room to the hotel room. There's no travel involved. That there's a big difference of sleeping in a bed and getting all those hours of sleep than, getting out of your gear and getting on a bus and then a plane or a train. I don't know how Philadelphia to New York, it's only a couple hours, but still those guys, it's still travel. You're still folded up in a vehicle or a train or whatever for a couple hours. So for them to be able to just go right up and go to the hotel is something.
And now, Coach, I know we don't really wanted to talk about the whole NBA, and we kind of just wanted to stay away from that. But one thing I would like to point out that I didn't think was right was, so the Bucks' opponent, the Orlando Magic, obviously, they didn't even let them know that they weren't going to show up for the game. And that's, I think that's a little unfair because obviously, you're preparing for a game, you're going up there, you're getting mentally prepared. I mean, it's a playoff game. I mean, Coach, you played football. You remember how it used to go when you're pregame and you're getting yourself jacked up and ready and loosened up. And then for the plug to get pulled right before the game, I thought that, they should at least have the decency to give the Orlando Magic a heads up. Hey, look, this is what's going to happen. This is what we're going to do. Instead of kind of leaving them there, I didn't agree with that. I thought they could have. I'm not going against what they did. I mean, if they felt they needed to do that, that's them. But I'm saying it was unfair, I thought, to the Magic to not even give them a heads up to what the situation was.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's common courtesy amongst athletes that if you're going to do that, and again, all for, what their cause is, for racial injustice. And let's take a look at this. And this is bullshit. I get it. But for you not to have the decency or the courtesy to tell your opponent that is just, I think that's over the line in how to treat your opponent, in sportsmanship like that. That's fucked up.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Now, Coach, last night I didn't hear the severity but not good news for your Yankees. If they've obviously, what is it, 3 straight they've lost now, or 4 straight?
No, 5.
But more importantly,
5 straight.
Yeah,
5.
Wow.
I didn't say it, Jason. I swear I didn't say it. That was Nick. Okay, he says I pick on his Yankees. I don't.
No, they lost 5. They lost 5 in a row, including the doubleheader last night. Garrett Cole gets his first loss in what, 20 some odd starts.
Like 28 or so.
Captain gets his easy C note.
We're going to do that via a steak dinner that Jason Dean's coming down for, according to him, which is cool. I like that because he pays for my $50 of my dinner. You know, if it goes over, I'll take the difference. But we enjoy steak dinner together, talking sports and seeing a good friend. So that's a win-win.
Awesome,
Right.
Awesome. But more importantly, Aaron Judge. You know, this whole talk that he was good to go for the Rays series and they kept him out. And then, you know, he had to come out in the 5th inning of game 2 last night is not good. Good. So he's going to be back on the IR. And, you know, it really hamstrings the Yankees.
No pun intended.
You know, he's got a calf, not the hamstring.
Well, close enough.
But
anyway,
LeMahieu already out, and Stanton. You know, Coach, did they say how long Judge was out?
They don't know right now. I didn't see.
How about LeMahieu and Stanton?
Stanton is day to day, and it's going to be all season. I'll be surprised if he doesn't come back right before playoffs like he did last year. And but the problem is you have a guy like Clint Frazier. Who's trade bait, and the Yankees can't get rid of him because of the injuries. Because of those injuries, they can't get rid of the guy, and his bat's been really decent. So, you know, you're going to command, you know, you might get some decent pieces back for him because he's never going to fit in that Yankee outfield. He's just not going to do it. He's had so much opportunity, and he hasn't been able to do it. So, you know.
And in that second game last night, going against probably right now the front runner for the NL Cy Young and Max Fried from the Braves, you know, they had a 1-0 lead. Tanaka pitched a hell of a game, and he's had pretty much a good start every start but one. One start he got shelled, but other than that, I think Tanaka's pitched really well this year. And last night he had great control for the bullpen to come in. Freddie Freeman hit, you know, it was a 7-inning game. It was the bottom of the 6th, and I believe he had 2 outs as well. Man on first, he gives up a 2-run home run to give up the 2-1 lead. You know, obviously they were up 1-0, and still just a tough loss because you get a good outing from Tanaka. I mean, Yankees now are a couple games back from the Rays, I believe. I mean, look, I don't think they're in trouble not to make the playoffs, obviously. But still, as you know, Coach, captain, seeding matters. And, you know, if you could have been the 1 seed and now you fall down to a 4 or 5, you're going to play a better team in the first round.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you know, it's really, really, we'll be surprised how that's going to be, Yeah, he did pitch good.
Jason.
Jason Dean, he did. And
now I got a question for you, Coach, and Jason, because I'm sure Jason's going to comment, and you can obviously say right here, are you really happy with the way that Aaron Boone has been managing this team last year as well as this year? Because I think that at times he's out of his element.
I agree with that because I don't think I've said this from Jump Street. Aaron Boone's a puppet. That's why they got rid of Girardi because
thank you for that. We'll take him. I mean, Phillies might not be the team that they should be, but you know, over the long run, I'll take Girardi. You know,
absolutely.
Was it 8 days a week, man? 8 days a week.
Yeah, and Girardi won his 1,000th game last night. I mean, he's almost up to like Felipe Alou, and Girardi's only 55 years old. And Bryce Harper got up and had a heartfelt speech. You know, players love Joe Girardi and love playing for him. And look, you know, you look at the Phillies. I mean, they've lost a bunch of games in the late innings with that bullpen, and that's not Girardi's fault. And another thing, which is a crazy stat I heard the other day, guys. So the first reliever to come in for the Phillies in 14 innings this year, 21 earned runs. Wow. I mean, that's horrendous. So the first reliever, obviously, to relieve the starting pitcher in 14 innings has given up 21 runs. Wow. So the bullpen's just been a disaster. And if they had better bullpen play, they almost blew the game last night again. It might be a different story for the Phillies. So I don't really blame, obviously, Girardi for that. I think they just need a couple bullpen guys, and I wouldn't mind, as captain has said, another starting pitcher, because they're hitting the ball. I have no problem with the offense. They just got to do a little bit better defensively, get maybe another starter, and obviously shore up the bullpen.
I agree, and I want to say hello to my boy Hollywood, who's in the Carolinas. I believe South Carolina. Great guy coming in here watching the show. I'm not sure if it's the first time, but Hollywood's good people. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks
and again.
But can I get back to Jason Dean with where? Yeah, he jumps the gun, but it's not. It's Girardi is getting it from upstairs. All analytics. The analytics says this. He goes.
No, Boone is getting it from upstairs.
Sorry, Boone, because Girardi fought that, and that was the big disconnect, and that's why he's gone. And I think that's why and he'll do fine in Philadelphia. I think once they get some of the more of those pieces they need, it'll be they'll be fine in Philadelphia.
Yeah, it might not happen this year. I mean, for the Phillies not to make the playoffs, to me, it would be a major disappointment considering that half of the teams in the league make the playoffs, and all they have to do is just be even one of the wild cards, because it's 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 plus 2 wilds. Okay, so for you not to make the playoffs, if you have enough of a push, yeah, you might be out in the first round, but still, you can't not make the playoffs when like most everybody does. I mean, that's disconcerting to a team. But even if, over a quote unquote regular season, and that is if they don't truncate it from 162 to 154, like they were talking about going back to the schedule before they expanded it for those 12 games, they got to do something anyway. But maybe, they're seeing some of the things that they might use next year, maybe, 7-inning doubleheaders, or maybe even, truncating even a regular season game to keep people healthy. There's a lot of things that they're experimenting with this year that they might use next year, as long as the players union agrees with it and put forward, as long as it's no money out of the owners' pockets or the players' pockets, they might deal with this stuff. But, it's going to be very interesting to see. Hopefully, and again, I say my Phillies. They're my Phillies. They're Nick's Phillies. They're not Coach's Phillies, because Coach is on good with the Yankees, and good for him. But I see a lot of good things happening next year in Philadelphia for sure.
Yeah, and look, they're only right now 2 games out of second place, and right in the mix for the wild card. So if they can turn it around, they've got a couple relievers and trades in the last week. And obviously the trade deadline is Monday, so kind of curious to see what happens in the next couple of days. Do they try to go and add another starting pitcher, or maybe even a little more bullpen help? We'll see. Another little news out of Philadelphia today, too, Coach. Andre Dillard, torn bicep, out for the year.
Yep, that's huge.
So now I guess because they have Peters, my guess is because that's Carson Wentz's blind side, they're going to bump Peters from right guard to left tackle. So thank God they have him. And my guess is, one of these backups will probably be playing right guard.
Right. Well, in other news too, it says, Jason Dean's been experimenting
him with Alex,
I guess. I thought it was with himself. He had to put out the.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and if he hadn't put psychedelics, we could have really hammered you, brother. So you put it on fast enough, knowing where we were going to be going with that. So good for you.
And
Yeah,
Tom,
shrooms, baby.
breaking news: the NHL games for tomorrow have been canceled as well.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah. I think I'm going to have a bit of this to talk about on my show later on tonight. It's like I'm not boycotting the show tonight, but I like the fact that we're actually talking about sports here. I'm going to actually talk about sports on the show later on tonight. It might not be as long because it depends on what people want to call in and talk about. But
here, put your thing up there. You can head on over. Give a little plug early, Captain. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Coach. I'm getting into it, but thank you, sir, for throwing that up for me. Serve at the net. Captain Jack Rackham Levy over on YouTube tonight, 9:00 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Yes, we will be talking sports. Yes, we will be addressing the issues of the postponement. I do not like to have a social yada 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 show, but what you can't ignore what's going on out in sports today. And I'm going to try to curtail it, and not that I'm turning a blind eye to what's going on, but I can only take 3.5 minutes at most of this is wrong, this is fucked up. Yeah, I'm all for this. Hey, I'm all for equal rights. I'm all for stability. I'm all for what the cause is, but to what detriment is the cause? And I was kind of bringing it up last night. What are you doing to your sport when you have things that are for a cause? Because at times you can be cutting off your nose to spite your face,
right?
And that's just the way it is.
Right. Now here's this Hollywood Raider. I'll put this up. Clemson's going to have 19,000 fans out of 90. That's a 90-seat stadium there. I didn't know they had that many people, but but yeah. And I also read that the Yankees are getting ready to host fans. Like they've been prepping the stadium to host fans. So I guess they're thinking for the playoffs they're going to have fans or something. I don't know. I didn't really click on the article and read it thoroughly. I just saw that the headline read Yankee Stadium prepping for fans. So
yeah, and I even said that with the NFL, and it still bothers me. It still bothers me that there is no blanket coverage where no fans across the board. None. Right. And I still believe in that. But if things get better by January, then you can open it up to the teams in the playoffs. But no, we're going to stick around with
the Steelers said no fans for the first 2 home games.
Right, and they did that the Packers too. Yeah, Packers said that. And I think LA said that. No fans for the first 2 games out, in the new stadium.
I agree with Captain. I think the NFL should come out with some kind of uniform decision to make it fair for all teams. Because no matter what, 20,000 fans is still an advantage to the team. Now, I don't know if they're going to pump noise in or what they're going to do, but still, that is a distinct advantage and a home field advantage to teams like, that'll have that against teams like the Eagles and the Steelers and the Raiders who aren't going to have fans.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you what, actually, when the Chargers play, they'll probably have to they'll have to buy fans in order to fill that 19,000 or however they have. They'll have to get people off the. I bet you it'll be like a homeless shelter. Come in for the game. We'll offer you sandwiches. Make some noise occasionally because we want to put people in here. This is for Charger games.
And I have to say this. I coached at an HBCU. We had a bowl game at Orlando. What is that? Camping World Stadium now, whatever that was. And honestly, I don't think there was 20,000 people in that place, and it was pretty quiet. I don't know how much noise.
Yeah, but remember, Camping World is outdoors.
But granted, it's also, the band is probably made up 500 on each side of the field, and the band made quite a bit of noise like they do. The fabulous swarm of the Delaware State University. Awesome job, as they always do. Got to plug my alma mater. But fan-wise, I don't know that there's going to be that much noise in the stadium with only 20,000, or especially in a place like Clemson where it has 90, where in Jerry's world that has over 100,000 people, when you only have, 10% in that building, how much noise really is going to be there?
Well, it depends on how drunk people get to be there as well.
It's still, I understand that, but I just still don't, don't see it being that
Coach,
big of a
I
deal.
have two more picks if you don't mind me giving out.
Wait, I want you to wait,
quick.
Nick. I want you to wait 1 second, okay?
Well, here we go. Let's hear it.
All right.
Hey, it's Nevada Nick. I should have broke your thumb. And if you don't want Gazzo breaking your thumbs, then listen to Nick's picks exclusively in the Huddle with Coach Muddle.
All right, go ahead.
All right. As I said this week, getting back on track, 6-1 so far. I did say, and look, I'm not going to change my mind. I still like the Bruins whenever that game is. I'm sure it'll be at some point over the weekend. I do like the Flyers. But tonight, I also like the Dodgers minus 1.5 runs. So obviously they need to win by 2. They're playing San Francisco. And I also like the Miami Marlins, who almost pulled a win out last night against the Mets and DeGrom. But, they came back late against that horrible Mets bullpen, but fell short. I like the Marlins tonight. So Dodgers minus 1.5 runs can get it even money. And then I also like the Marlins against the Mets. Not many games tonight, as a lot of games in baseball have canceled as well.
Hey, your cousin just popped this up. Nick, do you know about this? It says the Sixers are looking to build an arena in Penn's Landing by 2031. Will no longer share Wells Fargo with the Flyers.
Wow, I did not hear that. That wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Josh Harris, he got the new practice facility for the Sixers, and I don't know. I believe Comcast owns Wells Fargo Center. I believe that's how it goes, because Ed Snyder was big in getting that stadium built, and he was a part of Comcast who had owned Snyder and them owned the Flyers because it was called Comcast Spectacor. So maybe, he wants to get his own stadium for the Sixers, but,
and that surprises me, though.
The city, Coach, I don't see them putting up more money for a stadium when you got a nice stadium like Wells Fargo Center. Plus, in my opinion, I think Philadelphia has one of the best stadiums, I'm saying, for all sports.
Yes, I agree with that.
All right off 95, all right in one area. The Link,
yes,
Citizens Bank, and Wells Fargo are all right next to each other, right off 95, off main intersections. And then they also have Xfinity Live, a bar, very big, where, fans can go before, after the game, and a lot of fans that can't go to the game go, and you kind of congregate to enjoy, big games and all games. So I wouldn't agree with that, but, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. But still, if he's expecting tax dollars, I don't think it'll happen.
Well, I'm surprised it's Jersey. They built that practice facility in Delaware. So I thought that maybe that the Sixers would want to move south. The tax advantages of being in Delaware versus Pennsylvania or New Jersey are quite different. And it's just surprised me that they're not, coming south and they're wind up going east,
Well, there were some rumors of him moving the team, and there was huge uproar of that because, Harris not exactly really loved in this town, as he was the first owner as well to kind of try to, and when the pandemic happened, he wanted to cut employees' salaries and things, and obviously got a lot of kickback on that from the public, and then turned, obviously, changed his mind after all the backlash.
Right. All right, good stuff from Nevada Nick. We appreciate it. So you and Stiz, you got your oils ready for Nick and his for tonight or tomorrow night?
Oh yeah, we're ready. We have our call girls ready down there to show us a little entertainment.
What is this putting on? You put on a little lipstick and calling yourself?
No, not at all. Kiss has got his special Monica Lewinsky cigar. So,
oh, nice. Okay. Hey, I had one question though, and this is real. Didn't the Dodgers and the Giants postpone last night?
Yeah, they did, and they're having a doubleheader today, Captain. They played one game already. Dodgers won 7-0, and then they got a second game here playing tonight.
Okay, that's what I thought, because you were talking about a game, and I thought that they had postponed, so wasn't sure. Yeah. I mean, I know your information's good. I just was like, I know they postponed.
I'm just quoting here. It says, packing my bag now, Coach. Got a wig and my cigar. I'm just saying, man.
Well, you might want to leave that wig for Coach, because as you can see from his haircut, there's not much left.
All right. Anyway. So, and Hollywood Raider, I know I got off on it. I wanted to get to it. You're absolutely right. The Chargers do have 19,000 Raiders season ticket holders.
That's true.
Just to go to the one Raider game every year.
And then he sold the rest of the tickets, which is why, yeah.
Yeah. So, that's what that is about. So,
I mean, I can attest to that. The last game in that soccer stadium in LA last year was the first time I'd been to LA for any Raider game at all. I'd never gone to the Coliseum. And you want to hear some good stories, get with Hollywood about going to the Coliseum to see a Raider game. That was the first time I saw a Raider game in LA, and obviously it was at the soccer stadium. But that stadium was black. Occasionally you'd see one blue. Okay, for a Gargler fan, and I said that correctly. But it was all blacked out, and that was even the way it was at Jack Murphy or Qualcomm, whatever the hell they were calling it there. You go to a Raider Charger game. Sorry, guys, that's a home game. That's why I say the Raiders are the only team of professional football to not have not just one, but two home field stadiums made for them in the same year. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Now, Captain, quick question. A lot of people obviously bashed Oakland Stadium. You have been there, calling it obviously the worst stadium in the NFL. How bad was it? Was it that bad? Was it overblown? Obviously you getting to go there. I've never been there. What was the stadium like? Was it in bad condition?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch my tongue a little bit, because I don't want to piss off Angela. This was actually something that got her all upset with one of my viewers, because this was what it was, because he called it, quote, despicable. Okay, and when you call somebody's home, and Angela and Mama Moon and the rest of those folks took very great umbrage to that. And just like Jason Dean said, it was home. So don't ever call somebody's house despicable.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
but
that alarmed to a lot of people. If you could, everybody called it a dump. We called it our dump.
Exactly. Yeah. And actually, I'll say this, and then I'll also talk about the apparently somebody said that the Raiders Stadium in Vegas is going to have a judge in jail. I said, really? Just like Philly? Were they taking cues from Philly? It wouldn't be a bad idea, especially, because stuff happens in Vegas. So if it's true or not, I don't know whether it was a lie or not. But getting back to the Coliseum, the Coliseum was built in like 1967. It's over 50 years old. The only newer portion of the Coliseum was what they called Mount Davis, was what in the outfield, in the old Oakland outfield, they built that one big portion, which took out the entire sight line of seeing the mountains around Oakland. And it was kind of an eyesore, but at least that was the only new portion of the stadium. What was horrible about it, okay, is, and again, this is true, was that the sewage would literally flow into the stadium when you had backed up sewage. So you could have when it was raining and you had the sewage going down, you literally had fecal matter and urine flowing into the stadium. That's pretty nasty. There were a bunch of rats that they would find in the soda dispensers and things like that. That's a sanitation problem. So yeah, it needed a lot of work. It needed a lot of work. I would never call it despicable though, because again, you're calling somebody's home despicable. Okay.
Right.
But the truth factor is it needed to be updated, which is why it was sad. It was truly sad that the mayors of Oakland would pay lip service to, quote, the Raiders fans as well as the organization, say, yeah, we want you here. We want to get a new stadium and we're all for you. And it was all a line of bullshit. It was all a line of bullshit for the politicians to say that they were working with them when they, in fact, were not. I had this from folks that know Amy Trask. I got it from John Kingdon on how it was all lip service. It was a very old, decrepit stadium. And the stadiums of that age, Three Rivers, Riverfront, the Vet, all of them were destroyed because they just couldn't keep up with what was needed nowadays. Okay. Right. So it had a lot of crappy qualities, pun intended, at this time, but it was our shithole, shall we say. And that's why we loved it. It was our shithole.
And also, it was a heck of a home field advantage, too.
It was.
And the Vet was the same way. Players didn't like going into the Vet. Yeah, the turf was part of it, but a part of it was, too, just the ambiance of the stadium. The fans were just so
the pink locker room
and passionate.
Pink locker room for the visitors. Yeah, I heard that.
The pink locker room was pink, yeah.
I didn't know about the locker room being pink, but
yeah.
But still, going into the Vet, you know, you thought about it. They had you thinking about it. And same thing with going into Oakland. And the one thing, too, and I don't know if that stopped in recent years, Captain, but I thought looked bad, too, is there's, you know, they used to have the multi-purpose stadiums for baseball and football. And, you know, having that infield for the A's that they had in the Raiders was kind of really outdated, too. And, I mean, did they have that last year as well, or did that end a few years ago?
I'm sorry, you kind of broke up on the end. I know that the Raiders were the last of the people to do multi-purpose, and they were the very last team because when the Dolphins moved out of into their new stadium, you know, they had, it was pure football. When the Marlins went down to South Florida, they didn't have multi-purpose there. So the Raiders were the last team to play in a multi-purpose stadium, at least the first month, if not into 6 weeks of the season, depending upon how well the A's were playing. And the A's would play very well for quite a while. And I like the A's, but I always would say, can they just stop winning so we can get rid of that damn dirt? You know, I took Oakland as my home as well, even though I didn't live there. Like I said, Angela and Anna and all the folks there, they take great umbrage. You know, don't call my home a shithole. But by that also token, I was saying, hey, I like the A's, but I stopped liking them in August, because in August, the better they are, the longer I have to see that damn dirt infield in my stadium as a Raider fan. That's true.
Right. So, all right, good stuff, gentlemen. Good stuff, man. We just fly by. You know, right. And listen, Nick's cousin, we will get to Nevada Nick's first game at the Vet when he's on air, because I just want to see some of the facial expressions and whatnot. So we will get to that. We won't forget it. So and we will do it when it's on a YouTube broadcast, just so you can heckle in at your leisure for that.
Yeah, so I'll remember to do that on Tuesday.
Yeah. All right,
and
Nick.
Remember, Nick's cousin, join me at 9:00 Eastern over on my YouTube channel as well. So you can, since you bitch about, hey, I can't watch it because you use Facebook, I'm always on YouTube. And Angela is always on YouTube.
Nick's family.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm trying to poach Nevada Nick's family.
Hey, man, more for me, man. More for me is always a good thing.
So
Golf Kid and Captain's got a great show, very informative. Always, great prep, and I always enjoy tuning in.
Thanks
Cool.
again, Shipmate.
all right. Thanks, Nick. Don't get in too much trouble because I probably won't have my phone with me this weekend. So if you have some issues, I'm probably not the guy to call.
Bail money ready.
You got your bail money, right? Right in your pocket?
Yep.
Smart guy. Always have bail money.
Yep. There you go. So, all right. Thanks, Nick. We'll talk to you on Monday. We'll see you Monday.
Good, guys. I'll talk to you Monday.
All right. Take care. All right. Everyone on YouTube, thanks for coming and hanging out. We greatly appreciate it. Don't forget, 9 o'clock, bump back. Excuse me. For those of you on the East Coast, bump back over to Captain Jack and his show. Go ahead. You can finish plugging it, Captain.
Yeah, go head on over. You're on the right channel right now. At least you're on the right broadband, shall we say. You're on YouTube. Go to this on YouTube. Captain Jack Rackham Levy. Join me tonight. Yeah, we're going to be talking sports. And trust me, I want to be talking sports more than I want to be talking other things that are weighing in the mind. But yeah, definitely come on over and let's talk hockey. Let's talk basketball. Let's talk baseball. I want to talk football for sure. And even last night, we got to a point we were talking about Lionel Messi going from Barcelona, and I had the team wrong. I thought it was Man U, but it's Man City. So, but we'll talk about anything. We'll talk about high school sports being put in abeyance. Are they going to be played? Last time I checked, they were going to be played here. So we'll talk about sports, damn it. And yeah, we'll talk other things as well, but I'm not going to be dwelling on them. That's for sure. And hey, Vicky got her patch, which is great.
Awesome. So, all right, gang. Thanks for checking us out. Have a safe weekend. Wash your hands, and we'll see you back here on Monday. And have fun. We'll see you. Take care. Thanks. And man.